24 of Our Animal Adventure Live. So, before we get into who we're hanging out with today, first things first, we've got Cindy, we've got Gabe back, some of these incredible animals that he's going to be talking to you guys about. Now, this one's my personal favorite. This one's a little spicy, but I still love her. Now, a couple things to talk about. I know last week we said it was going to be the last day to use it, but it's going to be ending anytime soon. 15% off using the code FREEDOM, all caps, FREEDOM. So if you haven't used it yet, I highly recommend you do, because that's going to be ending literally, could be any second, literally could be right now. But if you haven't used it yet, book your tour, come hang out with us, meet Sydney, meet Gabe. Probably won't be meeting these guys, but you'll still be meeting some really awesome animals out here. Now, another thing to touch on, we won't be spending too much time talking about this because we want to stay super positive and I don't want to get too emotional about it. But if you have not seen our post yet, our horse Bear, we just had to put down yesterday. Oh my goodness. But I wanted to talk about my favorite story with Bear to kind of touch on the type of horse he was. He was absolutely amazing, but one of my funniest experiences with him is I was bathing him, spraying him down with bug spray, stereotypical horse things to do, and he got untied from his lead rope. So I walked up to him and I was like, "Oh, hey Bear, like, where do you think you're going?" And I bent down to pick up the lead rope, and before I could think about anything else, he kicked me straight in my face. That was an experience, but to think of the positives of that whole situation is he could have, just like any horse, took off, but he didn't. Instead, he actually walked himself back in the barn and put himself in his stall, so I didn't have to do it. So I was very thankful for that. And then another story on behalf of my brother, which hopefully he remembers this too, because this is one of my favorite things. Obviously, Sean's not here with us tonight. He's a little busy, but my dad, Sean and myself, we were all on a trail ride together, and it was super, super muddy, and Bear started slipping, but instead of just laying down and laying on top of Sean, he actually stayed up so Sean can jump off, and gave Sean enough time to be able to grab his reins so that Bear could kind of stabilize himself, stand up, and then walk off like nothing happened, and we were able to continue the trail ride together, which was really cool. But he was just an awesome horse. He's very missed already. We love him so much. But enough of that sad stuff. We're going to talk about these really cool snakes here, because I personally love these guys. I'm a little afraid of them, but I still love them and I respect them so much. So I pass the torch off to Gabe.
Hey, awesome. If anybody is here that tuned in last time, we had Bruce on the show. That is his name. This is one of my 2 red-tailed boa constrictors. This guy is absolutely awesome. Bring him around one more time for everyone. You can see they get the name red-tailed boa from that cool red tail that they have right there. Pretty cool. Saying hello to everybody.
This might be a stupid question, because I know they're called red-tailed boas, but can they come in any other color variations than this, like naturally, or no?
So I've seen ones that he has that cool like brownish tan coloration. You can see Jane over there. She's a little bit more gray.
She's a little bit
Sometimes
really
the tail, I've seen some that have like a very like blood red kind of like
Lady
very
Jane.
deep rich color, super
Say hello.
bright. His is almost a bit more faint, kinda. That goes for hers as well. And then I've seen some that
Hers is
almost
really
look
dark.
like dark brown or black.
Yeah.
But
Oh, wow.
yeah, it'll be different really based on the genes from the snake, also what country they come from. But you have red-tailed boas that come from Colombia, Honduras, Guyana, like tons of different countries down there in South America, and every single one of those subspecies is going to look a little bit different.
That's really
Just
cool.
pretty cool.
And I know she has like an hourglass pattern. Is that something that kind of occurs like naturally, or like they're...
Yeah, that right there will be completely natural.
That's so cool.
That saddling
Yeah.
saddling, which is this pattern that they have right up here. You can see these are called saddles. Every single one of these big little bands like that. But yeah, he has some pretty cool uniform ones. They're all formed very well.
Yeah, his are like literally like
Yeah,
perfect.
they're absolutely
Super
perfect.
symmetrical.
Every single one of them pretty much mirrors the last. The Jane over there, if you want to show Jane again, some of her saddles do have a little bit of a different shape, and again, you can specifically breed for something like that in captivity, but that also can occur naturally, that differentiation in shape as well, which is pretty cool.
The smiley face patterns that some
Oh,
of the
those are
snakes have?
so cute.
You're talking about like the pied ball pythons,
Yeah,
right?
those are
Yeah.
really cool.
So if any of you guys have seen like those smiley face snakes, those are called pied ball pythons. For example, they are leucistic, which is not a full loss in melanin production like albinism, but it is going to be a partial loss. So with those snakes, you can really, that's why you'll get that pied coloration, but you can get ones that are pretty close to being fully white, but again, if they do still retain some of that normal coloration, sometimes randomly you do get ones that have like a cool little smiley face pattern, which is pretty cool. But unfortunately, I have not seen any pied boa constrictors yet. I think that'd be a pretty cool
That
animal.
would be really cool.
Yeah, to achieve one day in captivity,
Yeah.
as long as it's done properly, but would be pretty cool. But one thing I would like to talk about with you guys is you can see Bruce is just hanging out with me like this. Yesterday was National Snake Day, that's right?
Yeah, National
Yep.
World Snake Day.
National World Snake Day. I brought this guy to the pet store with me, to Publix. He came with me to run some errands. But again, you can see
Oh
he's
my
just
gosh.
hanging out like this. He's an amazing pet, but though he's an amazing pet for me, animal like this is not an amazing pet for everybody. You guys could see with Jane right here, our little one. She's only a month old. Very small little animal. You would see something like that in a pet store and think, wow, I could keep that for a long time in like a little 10-gallon tank, a little 20-gallon tank. But after about 5 years, they're the size of Bruce right here. This guy's 6.5 feet long.
Crazy.
With an animal like this, you certainly cannot keep in a 10, 20-gallon tank. At that point, you do have to get a custom-built enclosure, whether you do that yourself or you have someone come build it for you. And a lot of people don't have the resources nor the time or space to do something like that. And unfortunately, especially here in Florida, due to our environment, it's very common you see animals like this released into the wild. These guys do become invasive. We have a very large population of these guys invasive in Florida, as well as those Burmese pythons as well that I'm sure a lot of you guys know about. That's when places like FWC and the Water Management District have to come in, hire contractors, and unfortunately hunt and kill these guys. It's not their fault. We happen to just have a pretty natural environment out here that mimics their own pretty well, and they can survive pretty well. But again, that causes innocent animals like these guys. They're just doing what they need to do to survive. They don't know they're doing anything wrong, but they do unfortunately end up being put down, and that will go for those pythons as well. That's just one of the things I wanted to talk about. If you do end up getting an animal as a pet, that goes for an animal like this or really anything regardless. Just make sure you're doing your research, make sure you know what it takes to care for that animal throughout any stages of its life, and that you could do so properly.
So how long? I know you said it, but it completely slipped my mind. How long does it take them to get from that size to his size?
5 years.
5
It'll be
years.
just about.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
about
Yeah.
it really, every snake is going to be different. It's also going to differentiate a little bit between
Mhm.
male and female. Also the temperature,
Mhm.
humidity you have in your cage, that's going to
Oh, that'll.
kind of vary of how quickly they digest their food, how soon they're ready for another meal, stuff like that. But yeah, typically, especially when they start off young like that, at this rate they slow down a little bit in growth, but for that first 5-6 years of life they could grow upwards of 8 inches to a foot a year, depending on how much you're feeding them. But
And how much? Like, what are you feeding this guy? Like, what does he eat and how
He-
often?
he eats jumbo rats right now. 1 every 2 weeks is what this guy is going to be eating.
So crazy.
I'm most likely gonna start upping his food item size a little bit because jumbo rats are suddenly not looking very jumbo compared to this guy anymore. But jumbo rat is the largest, like, whether you buy them frozen thawed or like live from like a exotic pet store where they sell live feeders and stuff, that's the largest size rat that they have. And for a bit, that's probably adequate size food for him, but again, not looking very jumbo anymore, so I'm probably gonna have to start getting him some larger food items. But yeah, a guy like this, and again, that's not cheap either, something like that. So like I said, just do your research when getting an animal like this, but a lot does go into that.
And then compared to her, what is she eating right now?
She eats a fuzzy mouse, which is like the stage of hopper mouse. That's what they're called, the ones they offer at like pet stores to feed and stuff. But that is like, it's the baby stage right before that mouse is weaned off from its mom. So it's a tiny, tiny little thing.
I just want to show you.
Eyes
She's
are
trying
like
to leave
barely
right now.
open yet.
She's very young, so she doesn't really know how to be a snake yet. She's learning how to use all her muscles
She's
and
so
everything like
cute.
that. She also just had her second. What was it? Well, it was a fuzzy, no?
Yeah, yeah.
Just had her
fuzzy
second one.
mouse.
So she's feeling a little bit full, fat, and sassy right now. Just a tiny bit, but look at this. Like, she's just squirmy. She doesn't know how to do anything yet.
So what's I think also is really cool is obviously he's really big, but you say jumbo rat, they could be like that big, right?
Yeah,
But the
it's
size of his face is way smaller than that.
Mhm.
So can you
So-
explain the process of like how they're able to
Question.
eat
that's a
that?
very good question.
I think that's so fascinating.
If you guys
Scary,
can
but
see,
fascinating.
I can't even like fit my hand fully around the widest part of his body, and then his head, look, right around. Very, very thin this head is compared to the thickest part of their body. A thing about snakes is when you do have one as a pet, that goes for any species you own. Doesn't have to be just a boa constrictor like these guys. You never want to judge the food item size that you're going to be feeding them by the size of their head. You want to do it by the thickest part of their body. You want to give them a food item that is about that same thickness because that's what they could fit. That's where their stomach is. These guys can dislocate their jaw and
So
stretch it,
crazy.
and they do have very, very stretchy skin around that jaw and around that neck area. So they can fit a food item that is a lot larger than the size of their head, up to 3-5 times larger than the size of their head. But that was an
Wow.
amazin question. Yeah, his head is
3 to
very,
5
very tiny
times the size
compared
of
to the
it.
widest part of his body. But again, they can dislocate that jaw, and that is very, very stretchy skin right there that they could fit very, very large food items in.
Wow.
So what's like the biggest thing that they eat?
Like in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
For one of these guys, I'm sure one of these things fully grown. Like the males don't get as big as the females for this
I
species.
also
Really?
didn't know
I
that.
think-
Yeah, I thought
no,
that would have been
the
the
feet-
opposite.
It's called sexual dimorphism. That's like any physical characteristic difference between like a male and a female animal. That's like any species. But for most animals, females do get larger a lot of the time, especially for something like a reptile, just because that is going to be the animal that is either carrying the young or carrying the eggs. Within her, a larger animal is going to be able to fit more. She's also bigger, so she's capable of defending herself and those babies if it's one that will stay near them. But yeah, the females for this species does get a little bit bigger. The males can get upwards of like 9 to 10 feet. I've seen some of the bigger ones. Females, I've seen some as big as 12, 13 feet.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that animal would 100% be capable of taking down a capybara in the wild. Sorry
I
to all
can't
the
do that to
Sorry to
my
all the
dog
cappy,
like that.
sorry to
Come
all the
on.
cappy lovers. This
But
guy will
it's
not
the
be
circle
going
of
near
life.
our capybaras.
It's the circle of life, which is great. So do you think he's gonna get bigger than this, or do you think he's done?
I would like to say that I hope so.
Yeah.
It really does depend. Again, on every single one of these animals is going to be different. Bruce
He's
is
so
deciding to
He's so
slither
pretty.
away from everybody.
I love him.
But
Chelsea
I really-
from Facebook asked how often do they poop?
That's a good question too, because if they're not eating as often
Yeah.
as your average animal,
Usually it's going to be how often. Which one's Facebook? Just like a
Facebook's in the middle.
middle.
Mhm.
Usually it's going to be close to as often as you're feeding them. So every 2 weeks, I'm expecting a poop from this guy. It's maintenance is pretty good. It's pretty easy to spot clean. But yeah, if you feed it once a month, you're most likely going to have your snake use the restroom once a month. Once a week, same deal with that. But
And it might be different from size, but like how often would a snake her age and her size shed compared to a snake his size?
so a smaller one like this is going to have a quicker growth rate. So again, it all depends on the snake individually itself, how much you feed it, how large the items are that you feed it. But a shed from her would be typically expected like once every 2 to 3 months. At
Oh,
that
wow.
size, once you start getting this big, it's gonna be closer to 2, 3, maybe 4 times at most a year.
Wow.
But yeah, pretty cool. The growth rate does slow down once they get bigger.
Mhm.
Once they reach that kind of max length, reptiles never really do stop growing, which is a pretty cool thing about them.
I
Once
also
they reach
didn't
kind of
know
that peak length, they just grow a lot in girth. That's why you guys, I'm sure, all you guys here from Florida, I've seen some really chunky alligators in your
Mhm.
canals and
Yeah.
lakes. But that is why they never stop growing reptiles, which is pretty cool. But the rate does slow down a lot.
What's the average lifespan of a snake? Like
These guys can live about 20 to 25 years. I've heard of some living into their 30s, which is pretty cool. But
that's really cool.
yeah, I like that a lot. A lot of larger
Mm-hmm.
reptiles, especially, they do have pretty long lifespans. And that even goes for those alligators I was just talking about as well. Some of them can live upwards of 100 years, which is honestly insane. But
yeah, that is crazy.
So reptiles aren't true cold-blooded animals. I know you guys are probably going to be like, what? That's a very dumb thing. It's easier to say they're cold-blooded, but they are actually called ectotherms, which does mean that they just rely on external temperature for their own body temperature. So there's nothing in them that makes their blood cold, but they just can't warm it either. So naturally, it is just going to mirror whatever their external temperature is. But because of that, like us, we are producing a lot more energy with our bodies. We do a lot more. Our respiratory rates are faster, everything like that. But because they aren't really producing all that excess heat, they're he's squeezing. I gotta readjust him. All right, now it's better. I'm getting enough blood to my brain now.
Oh my gosh! Imagine we're like, Gabe, are you okay?
Yeah, right. But because they aren't producing any body heat on their own, and they are relying on everything externally, their respiratory functions are a lot slower. They have a slower heart rate. They age slower. So that is why you see a lot of reptiles living, especially larger ones, with those very long lifespans. Because the bigger they are too, the harder it is for them to move around and lug all that weight and all that size around. So they're not really moving much. They kind of just sit there and preserve themselves, which is actually pretty cool. But you do see some larger reptiles living for a very long time. But again, for these guys, it's about 20 to 25 years. And like I said, with good care and captivity, I've seen some live into their 30s, which is pretty cool.
And then is this the type of snake that does live births?
Yeah, these guys
I
are
think that's really cool too.
there's like a few different ways to pronounce it. Oviviparous, which means live bearing. But yeah, they do come out like with the placenta. They have an egg sac and everything, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this species does give live birth, which is pretty cool. They can have, I want to say, upwards of like 25, 30 babies at a time, which is really cool. Super cool.
And what's like the gestation period of a snake?
For this species, I don't know exactly. I want to say it's close to a human.
Really?
I that's what I would guess. With the size of this snake and the size and amount of the babies they have, I don't know that one exactly off the top of my head. But I would want to say it's around like 9-10 months maybe.
Wow.
Close to a year.
That is really crazy.
Yeah.
Sydney Melissa Chaplin says hi.
Melissa, girl!
Which one?
On Facebook.
Facebook in the middle.
Hey, Pookie Schmookie Pie. Are you gonna come out again?
She said she can't wait to visit and she hopes you're her tour guide.
I will be. Just come out and be like, hey, where's the...
And then Big Sean said, I miss you guys. Give all the animals a kiss.
Oh,
Love you, Dad.
Is he on
bye,
Facebook?
dude.
Bruce wants to give you a kiss, Big Sean.
Oh, he's so cute. You got one from Jane too.
I love Bruce.
And me.
I love Bruce. Oh no, it's tragic. There was another question that I had. What was my other question? Dang it. Okay, it'll come back to me.
Allie's next question was going to be, how soon could I bring Bruce out to be a part of our tours? And that really depends on the kind of feedback you guys give us. If you tell us right now that you want to see this animal out here on our tours, I need to see it. I need to see it in every single one of these chats right now. That's Melissa, right?
Yeah, Melissa.
Sydney's your tour guide. I'm going to come around with this guy. He will be in an encounter for your guys' tour. That goes for anybody else who wants to come out here. We don't have any reptiles here. This could be the very first one that you guys see during your tour. So again, this is all dependent on your feedback. If you guys all say
This is
some stuff,
crazy.
my bosses, I don't think they'll be able to refuse that demand. So you guys let us know.
Wow.
I
But
mean,
that was a great question, then. I'm so glad you were gonna ask that.
we
Allie.
never see this side of Gabe. This is very
Yeah, what
interesting.
the heck's
This
going
is.
on?
I guarantee you, after this live, he's gonna be like, Allie, I am so sorry that I acted like that during the live, even though clearly what he's doing, there's nothing wrong. One thing you know about Gabe, if you don't know already, is he's literally the most polite person you will ever meet in your entire life. I guarantee you, after this. Allie, I am so sorry that I was overstepping. I did not mean to do that. I was just being funny and I was joking. But I kind of mean it at the same time.
I mean,
love
I
it.
agree with Gabe. Honestly,
99%
1000%.
accuracy with that statement.
Well, I know if you guys were watching last live, Sean did say that if the live got, what was it, 1 million?
1.5 million.
1.5 million views. I know Gabe and Sean have kind of been going back and forth over this last week about a couple different ideas, so.
Yeah. There
It
may
would
have
be
been
really-
some me attempting to renegotiate terms of that deal.
There's
and
nothing
whatnot.
wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I respect the hustle, Gabe,
Oh, thank you.
because it just proves that you genuinely want
Take a
to
look at that.
educate people on not just the animals we have here, but I mean these animals are so special too.
This guy asked Casey Jones about the armadillo lizard. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure they're from Africa. Yeah, from YouTube. You guys should actually search those up. Armadillo lizards.
Armadillo
They're pretty
lizards?
cool.
I'll
They're
look that up right
completely spiky. Completely spiky, and they like bite their tail.
Oh
They
my
bite the
gosh.
tip of their tail and they roll in like a little pinwheel.
What the
Oh
heck?
my god.
Yeah,
That's
that's
very cool.
a great
Crazy
question. I
facts.
love armadillo lizards. They're really cool. There's this exotic pet store I go to in
You can just take
Deerfield.
that out.
I don't know if you're from Florida or not, but it's in Deerfield. It's called Underground Reptiles. But they did actually just have a armadillo lizard when I went the other day. Which is pretty cool.
like.
I
That is
No,
so cool.
I have not been bitten by this guy. He is a red-tailed boa. I've never been bitten by him,
For everybody
and
else
I
on
would
YouTube.
prefer to keep it that way. Yeah, they're really cool. They bite their tail, like the tip of their tail,
That's so
and they
crazy.
roll in like a little pinwheel. They're
Like,
really
oh,
cool.
that was gonna be my
Like they
next
fold?
question. To talk about their teeth.
Yeah. Okay, so these guys have, well, to the person that asked about if I've ever been bit by him, Maximus Spartan. That's a cool name, man. I would-
I wish I
but
had that name.
I really do. I'm gonna take a trip to the courthouse after this and change my name. But no, I have never been bitten by this guy, and that's a very good thing. I would plan on keeping it that way. But they have well over 200 teeth. It's about 6 rows on the bottom and 4 on the top, which is insane. Every single one of them is shaped like a little hook like that. So if they bite onto you, that snake is on there. These guys being constrictors as well. If it is a bite, not just a quick tag bite as kind of like a, hey, I'm defensive, right? Yeah, well, that is
Yeah.
seriously no joke. But they're like literally hypodermic needles. They're crazy. But
Look
being
at
a
that.
constrictor
That's
as
what
well,
his teeth look like.
if he's biting something, especially with the intention of eating it, most likely the second after that bite, he's not going to let go. He would walk on to whatever it is that he is biting and just instantly wrap his body around it, squeezing as strong as he can. So the bite from this guy would not be very fun, would probably be followed by a trip to the hospital. But yes, Maximus Spartan, thankfully I have never been bitten by this guy, which is awesome.
Jordan on Instagram said, Alex, can you demonstrate how a snake moves?
Should invite him to the live and let him.
Hey!
I'm a genie in a bottle, except I'm a snake on a couch. Oh, thank you.
Oh, that was great. I wish I could.
Jordan's on where? Instagram?
Instagram. Jordy Bell. We
Jordy
love
Bell,
Jordy
3000.
Bell. Miss you, Jordy. Love you, Jordy. Right? That's the right Jordan, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Jordan, do you want to hold this guy when you come here?
You better.
Is he scared of snakes, Jordan?
No, he loves snakes.
Really?
Yeah, Jordy loves snakes.
Yeah,
he used to
Jordan, you
help-
gotta meet this guy.
He used to help Sean take care of a lot of the snakes that we had here for a while. He just didn't like the feeding process of it because it's
I
not
don't
the most
either.
it's not the
Yeah.
most fun process. It is the circle of life, has to happen. These guys have to eat, of course, but it isn't the easiest thing in the whole world.
Yeah.
He's
I know, he's so squishy.
He just got a
But-
big old jumbo rat.
Yeah. Somewhere in there. It's like right about here, honestly.
Dude,
But,
can you relax?
I will say, this probably seems silly to some of you guys that I'm even going to say this, but I have met so many people in my life that have been like, oh, Gabe, what's a good beginner snake to get? Yada, yada, yada. And I tell them, I'm like telling them all this information about it and stuff. And they're like, oh, so what do I feed them? I'm like, oh, you have to feed them rats. You have to feed them mice, yada, yada, yada. And they're like, I can't feed it like lettuce or like carrots or something. Or like, I'm like, no, snakes are carnivorous. Majority of species, especially ones that are commonly sold in the pet trade, are most likely going to be ones that are eating rats or mice. So again, if you ever do get a snake, like I said earlier, do your research, but most of them do eat rats and mice. You can do live feeding, but probably not. Most animals will go for that a lot easier, but frozen thawed is an option too. But again, if you ever get a snake, especially something like this, please do not expect that animal to be vegetarian. If you do not want to see rats or mice get fed, probably not the best pet for you, but that is the most common food source for a lot of these guys.
I have my next question ready.
Sure.
So obviously he has nostrils, but is it true that they smell with their tongue technically?
So they can truly smell with their nostrils the same way we do. You can technically consider it smelling with their tongue. It's more so like tasting the air is a better way to describe it, I would say. So every single time they flick their tongue out, it doesn't just go out straight. They flick it up and down a few times before it goes back into their mouth.
Well, Gabe, why don't you demonstrate what it looks like in the camera?
It's like
It's like Batman.
like that. But let's see. Yeah, you guys see that? It goes up and down several times before. Oh yeah, and they have a black tongue as well, which is pretty cool. You guys see his little mustache?
Holy cow!
It's really cute. Looks like he has a little mustache. But yeah, the tongue is black, which is super, super cool. No really real reasoning for that, just the species. But every single time they're flicking their tongue like that, they are picking up as many chemical particles, scent particles in the air as possible. Then every time it goes back into the mouth before coming out again, on the very roof of their mouth, they have something called a Jacobson's organ. That's kind of like a computer. It's going to pick up every single one of those scent particles or those chemical particles that were picked up by the tongue. It sends it to the brain, and that's pretty much what's going to be, again, processing all of those things. So it's going to tell them if there is a food item, where it is, how far it is, what it is. But pretty cool. Again, it is the Jacobson's organ that is going to pick up all those chemicals or scent particles, and essentially you can say they smell with their tongue. They kind of are tasting with the air is another way to put it, but technically it's really neither, honestly. But yeah, pretty cool. It's like a computer they have there that processes all of those things picked up by the tongue, which is pretty cool.
His eyes are like the most beautiful
gosh,
I've ever seen in my entire life.
I keep showing them.
Hers are really pretty too, but like
if you guys can't
eyes
see,
are amazing.
This little band he has right here on the side of his head, I don't know if you can see, but that same coloration does kind of pass through to the eye as well, which is really cool.
He also like might just be one of the cutest snakes I've ever seen.
He has such
in
a
my
cute
life.
little face. He always looks like he's smiling to me.
He does. He always looks like he's smiling.
He's very happy boy.
And he loves like you could just see
Oh,
he's just
no,
a happy boy.
He loves it, which another thing I want to keep getting up and getting down. But with a snake like this, they're usually head shy. And you guys could see, I'm literally holding his head, petting him right there. He does not mind at all. He's trying to get, he almost sounded alive there for a second. But not head shy at all. You can hold his head, you can pet him. He does not mind at all, which is really cool. But goes to show that he does not mind handling like this. That is very impressive, sir.
Yeah, wow.
You guys see them hold themselves out like that. That shows you how muscular these guys are, especially for a constrictor species like this. That's very common. You're going to see how good they are controlling their weight like that. But this species, coming from the Amazon rainforest in South America, they have a lot of trees. These guys do utilize those trees for safety, for cover, also to find prey items and whatnot. But as big of a snake as they are actually heavily arboreal. I have some branches in this guy's enclosure, some very large tree branches. He will climb and weave all throughout them. He'll actually perch up there at the top, kind of wrap and coil his body around at like the highest point in his enclosure. But it's actually really cool. And these guys will utilize whatever water systems they have down there in South America as well. They really do like to swim, these guys. They are insane at it. They can hold their
Wow.
breath for a very, very long amount of
I
time.
didn't know that either. That's crazy.
But very, very cool. These guys are extremely versatile. They are great on terrestrial ground, they're great in the trees, and they are great in the water as well, which is really, really cool.
And do they have any predators?
Yeah, pretty much anything larger than them is pretty much fair game. I know
But
a
they're
harpy
so
eagle.
big, so well,
Yeah.
harpy eagles are.
Yeah, harpy eagles are.
inevitable.
Yeah, they're like the predator of like so many things down
Yeah.
there in South America. Yeah, but harpy eagles I know are a pretty big predator of these guys. Cannibalism with this species of snake is also pretty common out there as well.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty common as well. Just 'cause it's
Don't
such a
believe it.
it's
You
a-
would have made cannibal.
no, not you, anybody but you, bud.
He's so cute.
But it's a very biodiverse ecosystem down there in South America. It is one of the most biodiverse ecosystems on the planet.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy over
Yeah, there's so much going on down there. Any of those predatorial animals are going to eat just about anything they can. So
there.
that goes for little Bruce here. His cousins out there in the wild finding just about anything they can. And unfortunately some larger predators finding them as well. But he doesn't have to worry about that.
He is
awesome,
so freaking cool. Does anybody have any questions on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube? Because I can literally ask questions about these guys all. I think they're so fascinating. I love snakes. I have so much respect for them. They're so cool, and I'm a big fan of Bruce.
Someone said it's so long. He's about 6.5 feet long,
Yeah,
head to tail, which is pretty cool. Something.
it's so interesting.
Somebody said, do snakes recognize
That's a
their
great
owners?
question.
Mm.
They can, definitely not the same extent like a dog will or anything like that, but they will 100% get used to being handled. Like the way I was just demonstrating me petting his head like that. He's great with me doing that, but he'll be good with honestly anybody doing that. But as far as smell goes, he definitely can recognize me. He knows the difference from me putting my hand in there to grab him than me going in there to grab him and take him out to offer him food or something like that. But he definitely does recognize me. The people that are frequently going to be interacting with him and holding him, he does recognize them as well. But that is an excellent question. He definitely won't sit or spin like a dog would. But yeah, definitely does
Imagine.
recognize me compared
Bruce,
to people it's his first time meeting. But that's a great question.
Somebody said, what's his story and how old is he?
That's a
Bruce
great
is
question, too.
5 years old. I got this guy from a pet store pretty recently. I was talking to the guy that owned the place, pretty cool guy. But a friend of his had this snake as a pet for a while. He was downsizing his own personal collection, ended up giving it to his friend that owned the pet store, and he decided to just put the snake on sale there for somebody to pick him up. And I came in there, I asked a little bit about the snake, and that's what I was told. And I was just like, this is perfect. I literally cannot pass this up. So Bruce ended up coming home with me. I already had a cage there ready for him. Just had to finish setting it up. But yeah, that is pretty much my story with Bruce. But again, he is 5 years old. This guy, he's still a baby, honestly. Very big baby. But
Yeah, this guy couldn't have gotten any luckier with Gabe. Gabe's gonna give this will be the longest living snake on the planet.
heck yeah.
His
And the
enclosure's
happiest.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's insane. He has a little pool in his little thing. It's for his water, but he uses it as a pool.
I love it.
He's always in there.
Somebody said, how long have you had Bruce?
I've had Bruce for
14
Oh,
years.
like-
now.
Oh, like a week?
yeah,
a
like
week?
2 weeks now.
Yeah,
I've had this guy.
So great.
So
And look, and you
No,
can see.
right? Last week was the first.
Yeah, that was right. Wasn't that last Thursday?
Was it really?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the first day you got him.
So
Yeah,
not 2
a
weeks
week.
then, I guess. Yeah, I
Which
guess
is
only
it
a
just
week.
goes to show how you could see how much Gabe loves him already, but you could also see how comfortable Bruce is with Gabe. It's only been a week and he's acting like he's known Gabe his whole life, which is absolutely amazing. So I guess that kind of goes with the question of if they recognize, their owners or I like to say their family members, because clearly Bruce definitely feels the love from Gabe. You could see how comfortable he is, and because it's true that when they're like on edge or they're like kind of figuring out what's going on around them, they kind of stay in like their striking position.
Yeah,
where they
they'll
get,
stay
like, coiled
S'd up
up.
a lot, ready to strike. But regardless, if this guy didn't want me to be holding him right
It's
now,
true.
if he didn't
He's
want to
so
be out here,
strong.
he would make sure to let me know. I wouldn't say he could overpower me, but he honestly could get pretty close. But again, if he didn't want to be here right now, if he didn't want me to hold him, if he wasn't comfortable with me touching his head like that, he would do everything in his power to let me know.
Yeah.
But you guys can
It's
see,
just so
he is
cool.
absolutely awesome
I love
being
him.
here, which is really, really cool.
And then my last question, which I don't know, well, I'm not going to say that because you probably do know the friggin' answer because you know everything. But how many ribs do they have? Are they all
Actually-
ribs?
They are ribs. So like essentially that's really all the anatomy of like a snake is just a skull, spinal cord, and a rib cage. But I actually don't know
Really? I'm
the
gonna
amount
look
of
that
ribs
up
they
real
have.
quick.
I'd assume it's different for every species of snake. Yeah, that's actually I definitely don't
See.
know that one. I would assume several hundred.
Somebody said, do you keep the big snake with the baby one?
No.
Jane has her own enclosure. It's a little bit smaller than Bruce's. Well, a little bit smaller, but she doesn't need that much space yet. She's literally this big. She's just a little danger noodle. That's
Yeah,
about
the tail is literally just muscle.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But she has her own little enclosure. How big would you say it is?
Her enclosure?
Mm-hmm.
She's in a 12 by 12 by 12 inches wide, 12 inches deep, 18 inches tall. It's like an arboreal setup.
It's so cute. It looks like a little terrarium.
Yeah.
It's like little branches in it that she
It's
can
an
perch
arboreal
in.
setup because the little ones like that will like to utilize that vertical space a lot. His enclosure is 6 feet long, it's 3 feet wide, and 3 feet tall as well, which is
That's so
pretty cool.
So I just looked up the rib cage question. It says red-tailed boas have more than 200 pairs of ribs extending along the length of their bodies, except in their tail where they don't have any. And then it also says that when they're constricting prey, they can turn off their ribs that involve the squeezing and shifting like onto different sections of their body. So they can like in sections shut their ribs off,
What the heck?
which is absolutely
Do
insane.
they
really
like
cool,
use it
actually.
to help like grip and stuff? Like
I mean,
strangle?
Definitely for like
Prob-
flexibility,
yeah,
and so they
probably.
avoid like impaling any part of themselves with like a rib, so they don't break it or
Very
injure
true.
themselves.
I wonder how they turn it off.
So I
They
don't
probably-
really think.
It's like between each pair of ribs, there is just a little sheet of muscle that does go in between each one, which is kind of how like you can see they're very flexible. When he turns his
Yeah.
body like that, that's how his ribs aren't poking each other,
Yeah.
getting locked. Is that muscle does separate them and keep them apart.
Mhm.
But yeah, there is muscle between each one.
So this also says that when they're swallowing, and well, while they're eating and they're swallowing, they initiate breathing in the posterior region of their body and shift it to the anterior as the prey moves down. The independent rib control allows the red-tailed boas to maintain breathing even while their bodies are heavily engaged in subduing and consuming their prey. That's really
That is
crazy.
really crazy, actually. Yeah,
That is so cool.
I just learned something new, you guys.
You're welcome, Gabe.
Thank
Look at
you.
that.
Wow,
Taught
Allie.
Gabe something.
Nice.
Wow. Not many times I could say that, actually. That's the first time I've ever said that. Gabe usually teaches me things, which is so cool.
Oh, bro.
All right, well, anything else to add? Any other questions?
Again, I'm gonna repeat myself once more
Here we
about
go.
this. She already knows, but this guy coming out to meet you guys during our tours is dependent on all of your feedback. So if my bosses hear enough of it, I don't think they'll be able to say no. So please do me a favor, do yourselves a favor to meet this awesome guy and have him out here for everyone to experience and enjoy.
I mean, really, it's kind of, how could you not?
Yeah,
I'm obsessed
right?
with him
It's
also. I love
it's a
him so
no-brainer.
I feel like
much.
it'd be a really cool part of the tours.
That'd be so cool. Yeah, if you
Anything
guys
to
think
add,
we should
Jane?
have him out here, then
Jane said
you guys let us know.
Ready to eat you.
Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us yet again on another fantastic Thursday night. We absolutely love hanging out with you guys. We love Bruce so freaking much. He's the best.
Say bye, Bruce.
And Jane. I keep forgetting Jane. She's the best
It's
too.
okay. She's brand new. She's only a month old, guys. She's literally a baby.
And
Hold
she's
on.
so
Say
cute.
bye with your tail.
She is figuring out how to be a danger noodle.
everyone.
She is very dangerous. The
I
most
love
dangerous danger noodle in the whole planet,
He's
actually.
like fully supporting
Yeah.
The
himself.
most dangerous danger noodle you will ever see in your life. Look at that black tongue. Oh my god, she said, hey,
Getting a lot
dude.
of love for Bruce.
A
Yeah.
lot. Bruce,
Thank
he's
you.
so
Bruce.
cute. Hi,
Somebody said we need a rep.
My
We
name's
do
Bruce.
to Kira Ferrante. I don't know. I'm sorry if I pronounced your last name wrong. We do need a reptile section at Animal Adventures. You are a genius. I absolutely agree with you. But everybody, say more of that. Say more of that, please.
Well, thank you guys for. Quiet, Gabe. No, just joking. Just joking. No, I love the reptiles too. I think they're absolutely amazing. They're so beautiful, especially all of the animals that Gabe has brought out to hang out with us. Every single one of them. Even ones that we might be a little afraid of, like the spiders and the scorpions. He has brought a scorpion here before. Absolutely terrifying. Yeah. But absolutely beautiful too. But they're all amazing. And if you guys enjoy this, trust me, there's going to be a lot more of Gabe and Sydney bringing some really cool animals too, because they're all absolutely amazing. Especially Bruce. I always request Bruce. I love him so much. But thank you guys so much. Don't forget that 15% off code, all caps, FREEDOM, FREEDOM. That is going to be going away literally super soon. So if you haven't used it already, use it now. Book a tour. Come see these two awesome people. We love them so much.
Share.
Share. We love you guys. We'll see you next Thursday.
Bye,
guys.
Bye Instagram. Bye Facebook. Bye YouTube.
You're going back right the fuck now.